Where we going? Oh, okay, child, let's get into this mess. So Jelly Roll is the latest celebrity to give his opinion on this whole Beyonce Cowboy Carter not getting a nomination at the Country Music Awards. So while reflecting on the 2024 CMAs, snub of Beyonce's groundbreaking album, he acknowledged its impact and stopped short of declaring it CMA worthy. So yeah, he went on, and I think also the reason why people was having a problem with what he was saying, because I think it was the reviews were mixed. He went on Andrew Schulz's podcast and gave his opinion. I don't know what the podcast is called, nor do I care, because I don't particularly care for Adolph Schulz, because that's what he gives me with his look. But I do have a clip, courtesy of the Jasmine brand, where you can hear it from his lips on what he had to say regarding the Beyonce snub. He was being a little too diplomatic, in my opinion, but here's what he had to say. Please hold.
I think that the body of art was incredible. There's no denying that. Like, I always take all politics out of it before we even talk about those. What did the art actually say? That, man, this is a slippery slope too. And I'll hang here with you because I'm willing.
Like any insight or opinion on.
You know what I mean? He's like, you'll do Morgan's part? I was like, hell no. I was like, I'll butcher it. I'll do the hook and the bridge. He's like, all right, cool.
That's fire.
Do you have like any insight or opinion on like the whole drama with Beyonce not getting nominated for any country awards?
Man, this is a slippery slope too. And I'll hang here with you because I'm willing to with my friends. I think that the body of art was incredible. There's no denying that. Like, I always take all politics out of it before we even talk about those. What did the art actually say? Was it good? Right? And the record was good. I don't know if it was Beyonce's best record. You know what I mean? It didn't make me feel the way even Renaissance made me feel as a full body of work. But there was 2 or 3 songs on there that I thought could be country song of the year for sure. What she did with Jolene alone to me could have been, was just unbelievable, you know, and how much Dolly loved it. To me, that's the real tale, right? If Dolly loves it, it's a big deal. So my argument starts with the art. My argument is, yeah, I think she should be nominated because the art was worthy of being nominated. The flip side of the argument, this isn't my argument, so I don't want to get crucified or nailed to this cross, is that Nashville is a small community that is trying to keep country music as a boundaryless genre. And I know boundaryless seems like, well, that's the opposite of not putting Beyonce in it, but meaning like they never allowed country to get put in subgenres like rock did. So like they've kind of like, country is one of the last genres left that you could just say there's a country music concert happening and a certain group of people will still just show up. You know what I mean? Like it don't really matter. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you could say there's a pop concert happening and somebody's going, who's going to be there?
Got it.
They could say, hey man, there's a country concert happening down the street, and people will kind of just blindly go based on the consistency of country music. That's being ran by the town of Nashville, my city, where I'm from. But this is being ran from the industry. It's like how, you know, like all the record labels are in New York for hip hop. All of them are for pop in LA, or, you know, how it used to be, whatever. Now it's kind of everywhere. But these people looked at it, the people who are the 20,000 registered, 30,000 registered voters. Like the Grammys only has that many voters, or 60,000 or something, 100,000, whatever it is, right? These people that are in that, look, they are only really hip to what's happening in Nashville. Right?
I don't know. I just felt like he was talking out of all, I don't know. As much as I like you, Jelly Roll, you were talking all over the place. And it was just hard for me to keep up with what the hell you was talking about. So I understand he's like, they want to keep it boundary or genre-less. I'm like, huh? Because y'all be mixing hip-hop with country and all these other different genres and stuff. So it's okay when white people go and y'all can come and bring in a lot of those urban elements into y'all music. But the minute that black people step into these spaces, when basically Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album was opening up the conversation for the saying that black people have contributed wholeheartedly to the country music genre, even though Black people are not the dominant force in the genre of country music. We have, you know, our people, our ancestors have contributed a whole lot to the genre. So I feel like that maybe is what the conversation should be. I don't think, like, I feel like maybe, you know, he was coming from a genuine place. I think he was too much in his head where he was worrying about, oh, people are going to come at him and people are going to drag him or whatever the case is, whatever his opinion on this is going to be, because there's never a right answer when it comes to these stand, you know, groups that want to get all, find any little thing that y'all say and want to take it out of context and want to call you a colonizer. They want to call you all sorts of names. I also think that it wasn't the greatest place for him to go on a place like Andrew Schultz's podcast and sit with the group of them people that was sitting up in there and having this conversation. And I don't understand, why is it always that we have to get the approval or have the conversation of what white people think of this album, particularly Cowboy Carter, when the cultural significance behind the album is not something that white people can relate to. They can empathize and they can understand, but I don't think that they can relate to the context, subcontext, context, all the different nuances that was in that album. And so, yeah, he was thinking like, oh yeah, Jolene and there's certain songs on the album, he feels like, oh yeah, those are good country records, but all the other extra stuff that they was adding into it, it's like, yeah, that's not going to go over his head. Now, I will agree with him that I do not think Cowboy Carter touched me as much as Renaissance did. Renaissance was more up my speed. I did like more of the experimental stuff she was doing with that. And she was incorporating house music and the foundation of that and the contributions of Black queer people and you know, the trans community and all the people that took part in, you know, the foundation of house music. So it was like, it was the gays, it was Black folks, it was Latino folks, like we all, you know, all people of color and queer people of color particularly have contributed to the house music disco genre. So I totally get it on that. But of course, you know, but he's like saying that they don't fully grasp the album's significance, that Nashville doesn't. So if Nashville CMA voters didn't grasp the cultural significance, of course that's going to happen, because when you are someone who is looked at as a minority, who's jumping into this space that is predominantly dominated by white people, they're not going to see the cultural significance of what it is that Beyonce is trying to contribute to the record. And it could also, I also think that maybe her mainstream status, I mean, that probably hurts her in a way, that her being a mainstream pop act hurts her from kind of coming into this. Now, he also did mention something or another that when she, you know, it all boils down to like, if this is the genre that she's going to stay in and you know, after Cowboy Carter. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I feel like Beyonce only did this country album to prove the naysayers wrong, but also be a, what's the word that I tend to use, an edutainer, is someone who will entertain as well as educate and try to mash all that up in the gumbo. So I feel like that's what that is as well. She already did what she needed to do with this record. She made her point. Everybody's talking about it. It's still on the tip of everybody's tongue, even long after the CMAs and came and went like a fart in the wind. And, you know, we've all moved on, but people still talking about it. And you have people up there that's trying to, in a way, it was like, okay, y'all trying to set Jelly Roll up, but look, can't nobody set you up if you're not willing to participate. So, of course, that, you know, the Beehive had to give their opinion on the situation, where they said many felt that Jelly Roll was gatekeeping a genre they didn't create and accused him of being overly cautious in his statements. Well, yeah, he's got to be overly cautious, because it's like, if whatever he says, y'all gonna come at him. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm a white man speaking on country music. I don't have any issues against Black folks, but I don't want people out here trying to accuse me of anything. And lest we forget, Jelly Roll was a rapper before he jumped in the country music space. And it's funny how it's easy for people like him and Post Malone to go and infiltrate the hip hop space, and Black people, per usual, will open their doors and let white people to the cookout, and y'all just be giving out invitations to every damn body that y'all see just because they have a little swag, and they throw a couple of, you know, terminologies out there. Y'all automatically be inviting people to the cookout. But when it's the other way around, I'm not saying that they have that control, but when it's the other way around, it's sort of like, oh, well, now we're being more accepted over here because we couldn't really hack it over here in this space. So we can mash up the country with the hip hop, which Jelly Roll does, as well as Post Malone. So I don't understand how it's like y'all could do the mash it up and change the things. So when y'all sit up here and talk about the purities of country music, I'm calling BS on that because ain't shit pure about some damn country music. And yeah, if y'all want to talk about the old traditional sense, I get it. But when you have people who are doing country music and mashing in different genres, y'all do cross-pollinate in genres. Now, one fan commented on Instagram said, "Mayonnaise people always defend each other. We don't. But good thing is we don't need to sit at their table. We are the table." Well, yes, y'all do, because y'all was up in here talking about we don't need to sit at their table, but y'all was mad when Beyonce got snubbed. So which one is it? So it's like y'all talking about, well, yeah, we don't need y'all stuff. We don't need to sit at y'all table. And I'm not trying to say that this person was one of those that was bitching and moaning about the fact that Beyonce wasn't getting no awards and Beyonce was snubbed and F the CMAs and all that other stuff. But there were people out here that feel like there's some, once Beyonce comes and gets the awards and stuff, then she's finally accepted and validated in spaces that she would normally be welcome in. And then the exclusion of Cowboy Carter from the CMA nominations has revived tensions about inclusivity within country music, with some pointing out the history of snubs. Beyonce herself faced backlash in 2016 when she performed with the Chicks, aka, the Dixie Chicks, at the CMAs. One fan wrote, "It would be world changing if our people stuck together like they do," expressing frustration at perceived double standards within the genre. Meanwhile, others sided with Jelly Roll, agreeing that his critique of Cowboy Carter's limited appeal. A fan noted, "I agree with him. 2 or 3 songs best was good, but I always felt the album could have been better. They're probably trying to see if she will stick with country for a while or will she jump back to her norm." Well, like I said, I do not feel like she's going to stick with country for a while. I feel like she did what she wanted to do in regards of the concept of this record. Now, in regards of the execution, do I think it works? I don't. I feel like similar to her performance at halftime, I feel like it was just a construct of ideas and it was just all over the place. And she was trying to do too much in a short amount of time. And even though the Cowboy Carter album is relatively long, I just feel like that record is all over the place. Like, it starts out great halfway, and then the second half it kind of falls off for me. And then with the performance that she did at halftime, I just felt like, you know what, when you have set such a high bar for yourself, it's harder to reach higher than the bar you've already set. So yeah, her getting up there with Blue Ivy, seen it. Her up there with the homage to Black excellence and stuff, seen it. The HBCU band moment, seen it. Like, all the things she incorporated is like a greatest hits of stuff she's already done in the past. It's just, okay, we changed the costume, we changed up a couple of the dance moves, but other than that, been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. So that's kind of how I felt on that. But yeah, I just want to point out to y'all the different situations that everybody was, all the different sides of the coin. I want to see if anybody said anything else. Oh, another person said he said nothing. Another person said this combo would help the album watch. They will go back and do her right. Creating a body of work takes time, effort, energy, etc. Plus, she's a wife and mother. That's a lot. She deserves way more credit, but I see it coming after this conversation because people listen to Jelly. He bona fide in that realm. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. You talking about it's going to help the album? Well, no, people still talk about it at the end of the day. As long as people are talking about the album, I think it does help it regardless. And yeah, creating a body of work does take time and effort. That is true. But what does being a mother and a wife have to do anything? There's a lot of celebrities out there who are mothers and wives and still out here working their ass off and touring. So I don't think it has anything to do with the fact of creating a body of work. So she does deserve way more credit that people are giving her. And they said, another person said, Taylor Swift is a country star, and she is actually not country, she is pop. But yeah, it's like, we've already had the conversation about white people it's easy for them to float in and out of different genres, and it's more acceptable. It's like we was talking about with Mooney Long, where she was up in here talking about how I'm not writing songs for non-melanated people. It's because y'all know that Black people are the ones who are the originators, the movers and the shakers, the people that get things done, the people that push the culture. It's Black people and the homosexuals. We're the ones that push the genre. But y'all want to, dress it up in all white and alabaster and push it out there. Like with the thing about what was said about, the Britney Scream and Shout song was stolen for her, and no fault to Britney, but it's the people behind the scenes doing shady moves. The Catcher situation with Timber, and Mooney Long said that she wrote that song, was supposed to go to Flow Rider. Apparently Pitbull ended up getting his hands on it. vocals wound up on top of Mooney Long's vocals, and because she couldn't hit certain notes, they wanted Mooney to come in the studio and hit and layer her vocals under Kesha, because Kesha's voice, quiet as it's kept, is limited. No shade. But we've seen this happen many a times where Black people get pushed over for that light bright artist or that white artist, or in our case, a lot of times, Jennifer Lopez, where she's been accused many a times of her songs being taken, other people's songs taken for the A. Marie situation, the Ashanti situation, so many other things that was going on with that. So, I know this is a long one, but I understand what Jelly Roll was trying to say. But like I said, this is going to open up a conversation for, people's overall thoughts on the whole thing with Cowboy Carter. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Whatever your thoughts regarding Jelly Roll's comments on Beyonce's CMA snub. I always said, like, if a real artist is not out here to just be trying to collect awards like they're tchotchkes. If you are really about that life, if you're really about the music and you love it and this is your passion, whatever, it shouldn't matter the awards and getting those type of accolades. You should be doing this because you love what you do. And who cares about awards? Beyonce's got enough awards to last her lifetime. She's got over 3 dozen, damn near 3 dozen Grammys. So she's not hurting for an award. And if she gets snubbed, which, no shade, I do not think she's getting Artist of the Year this year or Album of the Year from the Grammys. I don't think she's going to get it. But if she doesn't, I feel like, and I already know what's coming, people are going to get mad, whatever the case is. But it's like, look, she did what needed to be done. She came out here, she wanted to create something to cause a commotion and start a conversation. And that's what we're having. Even long after we've done moved on from Cowboy Carter, the conversation is still going on. So, and people are using it to go viral, to have these conversations. Hence why Andrew Scholl's people is talking about it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.